Hi folks, my name is Ryan Hoagland, and we're during our COVID-19 quarantine. This is going to be our replacement for in-shop demonstrations. So welcome to MLR. This is one of the first things that we're going to be doing in our MLR class. So and this is in my garage at my house. So please, a couple caveats or a couple things, orders of business before we start. Yes, I know my garage is messy, so didn't really have a chance to do much cleaning in here, but I do plan on organizing things a little better, and, later on down the road. So right now I'm putting together a few videos for our MLR class and for a few other classes as well. So this is the one of first of many. So this one is basically how to change oil. You folks starting out in this business or going to be honestly changing a lot of oil. Trust me, coming from someone who's been in the business for many years. Usually that's where people start out. They'll start out on the lube rack. When I started back in '99, we really didn't have any fast lubes or quick lubes, but the majority of the oil changes that came in the door, I did. So, a few things to start off with about oil changes. A lot of people think they're easy, and it's like, oh, oil changes, they're easy. Anybody can do those. Sure. However, there are a few things that I'm going to show you that are going to not only make things easier for you, but also to make sure that you don't make a big mistake. And folks, let me tell you, one of the things with being a technician is being able to live with mistakes that you make along the way. They will happen. Okay, so when I say that mistakes are common, I wouldn't say they're common, but try to keep them as uncommon as possible. So one of the few things you want to avoid, obviously, with doing an oil change, there's a few ways that we can mess them up, and I'll share with you a few of those ways along the way. So let me give you a tour real quick of what I've got going on here, and a little history about this rig. This is a 1993 Jeep Grand Cherokee that I picked up for about $350, and actually did some work, trading some work for it. It's got a whole ton of miles on it. I think it's got almost 250,000 on it. It's got the 5.2 liter Dodge V8 in it. And it actually runs really well. It does burn a little bit of oil. It does smoke a little bit, so, but I'm not too worried about that. I did get this thing quite a while ago, and I've yet to do an oil change on it. So I figured what better time to do it than right now. So I'll be showing you a few things to look for along the way. Now, one of the very first things that I do during an oil change is I'd like you to look at the sticker that's in the window. Okay? So if you can see that sticker, hopefully you got enough light on it. So it says 247,000 and change miles. Okay, the odometer is actually at that mileage currently. It's at about 247 and change, give or take a few hundred miles. Okay? Now, if you get a car in that the sticker mileage is way under what is actually on the odometer, that should raise a red flag for you. Okay? And these are one of those situations that we really need to cover our you-know-whats and make sure that we're not taking on a vehicle that may already have engine damage due to neglect. Okay? So, one of the very first things I'm going to mention to you folks is when you do an oil change on a vehicle, okay, check the oil first, okay? Very, very important. I know it seems silly. You're doing an oil change anyway. but check the oil first. Why is that? Take a second to think about it. Okay. We'll see where this one's at, and that looks like I've done a pretty good job of keeping up on it. Okay. So this oil here, it looks like it's right smack dab in the middle of the safe range on the stick. It's pretty dark. It's pretty cruddy looking, so it's definitely time to change it. Okay. So, like I said, this thing does burn a little bit of oil. I've already had to put at least a quart of oil in this thing, and I haven't driven it that much. So, it is definitely using it, and it's not leaking it. So, anyway, we'll get to that here. So one of the first things I'll have you do when you change oil is also I leave myself a few reminders, okay? And I'll actually pull the dipstick and leave it out, okay? So this is a good reminder, along with one more thing that I do, is I take the oil cap off, okay? Ooh, that doesn't look so great. And I'll usually set it here right next to the hood latch, okay? So why would I put it next to the hood latch? Okay, here's the deal. The last thing you want to do is forget to put oil in an engine, okay, after you've drained it all out. Okay, but trust me, it's way easier to do than you think. Many technicians have done this in the past. I've watched somebody do it that was working next to me. Now, there were a number of reasons why it happened, and we could talk about that for days. But folks, let me tell you, set yourself up for success. Okay, I'd much rather break an oil cap when I slam the hood and then realize that I needed to put oil in it, rather than it making it out the door with no oil in it, to where it seizes up on the customer. So, you know, an engine that seizes is not fixable. So it's put a new motor in at time. So you know, you can repair them, but it's a huge amount of work to do. So you want to avoid that at all costs. So like I said, set yourself up for success and pull the dipstick. So you've got a big jangly reminder here, okay, and pull the oil cap. All right, so you can see what's going on there. Okay, so I'm going to cut the video here. One other thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to drive this rig up onto my ramps, so we can get a little extra room underneath this thing. Whatever you're doing, you know, make sure you're doing it safely. I am aware that that ramp is a little goofed up. I am definitely keeping an eye on it, and I'm going to buy a new set of ramps here soon. So don't get underneath these if you don't feel good about them. This truck is definitely not stressing out these ramps by any means. So I'm okay with it for now. All right, we'll see you in a few.